Good Monday morning. Well, we're getting ready for Thanksgiving here at the Jones house, but this is not a Thanksgiving musing, really. Kind of, maybe it will be. I think we're going to have 17 around this table. We'll probably have to add another table to it to get everybody around here because little kids don't like to sit at little kids' tables. They like to sit at big kids' tables. And we will go around the table, and each person will say one thing that they're thankful for, and we'll laugh and we'll cry and we'll just hang on to all of it until next year comes. But for whatever reason, there was a passage of scripture that I just couldn't get away from, which is not a typical Monday before Thanksgiving thought, but it just feels really important. There's a passage of scripture in Proverbs 27:20 that talks about things that are never satisfied. And you know, the power of thankfulness and gratitude is they refocus us on the goodness of God. But this passage says death and the grave are never satisfied, and we know that until Jesus comes back, they're never going to be satisfied. They're always going to be taking more and more and more and more. But there's another thing that it says isn't satisfied, and a lot of translations say man's appetites or man's desires, but it will... In some of the commentaries, other theologians will say that when it's also talking about the word envy. Envy, jealousy is never satisfied because jealousy is always wanting something that it doesn't have. And so it's focusing on the lack instead of focusing on the gift. And I want you to hear me. I'm not just talking about a place of desire that you have. That you have to grieve and that's wounding and that you still wish were filled. I'm 55 years old and I still wish I had a kid. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with longing for or grieving the things in this life that are good things that you may not have. Maybe it's your health. Maybe you're grieving aspects of your health that you've lost. There's a difference between grieving something, longing for something, and envying something. Envy and jealousy, when we make decisions and do things from a heart of envy and jealousy, trying to manipulate people, trying to coerce people and move people and manage people in order to get what we want, because we're jealous of something they have and we don't have, we are putting ourselves in a very dangerous situation and place. And we may very well end up consuming the things we think we're wanting and trying to protect. So I have a relationship in my life that I've had to be in relationship with for many years, and they have been consumed with this heart of jealousy. And I've had people say before, what if you just give them what they're asking for? And I have said, I could. Number one, I'll have to hear from the Lord. Number two, I could give them what they're asking for, but it still won't be enough because it's not really what they're asking for. They are wanting something from me that jealousy is requiring, and jealousy is never satisfied. It will continue to want more. So I just wonder, in this season of being grateful, if we would ask the Lord to search our heart, if there's any place in our heart where we have envy or jealousy. It's not an easy question, but it sure is an honest one. And you know what? If it is there, I would think most of us would want it out of us. Because we don't want to miss the goodness of God. and the things to be truly grateful for. Because when you live with a heart of envy, even if you're talking about the things that you're grateful for, you still have this rotting piece. Scripture says envy rots the bones. There is still something that has a stench and is rotting inside of you. Something is always stolen with envy, and envy is never satisfied. Even if you get what you think you want, it still won't be enough. So, I told you it wasn't really Thanksgiving, but wouldn't we be thankful if we were set free? Because Jesus died to set us free. And I think we'd all want the full work of that in our lives. Happy Thanksgiving.